Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, MBC Lifestyles Diary. In case you're new here, my name is Marie. I love traveling, entertaining, going to cultural events, and I'm asking you to join me on the adventure. Today we're going out to Astoria by Silver Cup Studios to the Museum of the Moving Image. It's free on Thursdays from 2 to 5, and if you're a member of MoMA, you're free all the time. Come, join me. You walk into the museum and it's beautiful. To the right is the museum shop, and you're looking at the coffee shop and big glass windows that show the courtyard. It's very bright. I didn't know that the Jim Henson exhibit was a permanent collection. Since July 2017, the Museum of the Moving Image has been proud to present the Jim Henson exhibit, a permanent showcase of nearly 300 objects from the career of the beloved and revolutionary American artist. The exhibit explores Henson's unique contribution to the moving image and how he and a talented team of designers, performers, and writers created an unparalleled body of work. What I discovered about Jim Henson is that he was born in Mississippi. He was educated at the University of Maryland, where he studied art and graphic design. And he met his wife, who became his partner and helped start the company, Jane Nebel. They were both puppeteers. And he started working for television at 18 and had a very successful show called Sam and Friends. The museum is interactive. As you can see, I got to play around with the puppets and do a little performance to the song from his TV show, Sam and Friends. They won a local Emmy for this. I was quite surprised to find out that he had a wife, because they always made it sound like he did it alone. But in this exhibit, you found out she was his partner, and they moved from Maryland to New York because they became successful doing commercial gigs. And of course, when they had children, they moved to Greenwich, Connecticut, and she raised the children but remained involved in the company. Here you're looking at another aspect of Jim Henson. When he was doing experimental things in the 70s, he wanted to open a club and have things projected onto that screen and women's bodies and present another experience. We're back to the Muppets and the famous Sesame Street, which brought me a lot of nostalgia. And I was surprised to learn that Big Bird was talking as a regular hand puppet. Here we have his science fiction puppets. Throughout the 1980s, Jim Henson developed complex stories that required more elaborate scales of production. The movies The Dark Crystal, The Labyrinth, and the cable television series Fraggle Rock all present fully realized imaginary worlds and made use of innovative technology that enabled Henson and his fellow performers to experiment with new forms of puppetry. In 1978, The Muppet Show had aired for 2 seasons, and the Muppets were international sensations. Wanting a larger canvas for his characters, Henson began work on a film that would bring the Muppets out of the variety show set and into the real world. The Muppet Movie 1979 presented Henson and his company with the unprecedented challenge of making a feature film starring puppets that interacted with humans in natural settings. Another fascinating thing is The Labyrinth was produced by George Lucas, and it starred David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. That was fascinating in a Jim Henson production. It goes back and forth, and it shows the wide breadth of his imagination. Even though we pigeonholed him into Sesame Street and the Muppets, he was interested in so much more. And the daily grind even got to him, as you could see in his experimental films. He did a movie about a man stuck in a cube questioning his own existence, and another man bound by the tediousness of life. Work, sleep, work, sleep. So science fiction was a nice reprieve for him, and he got to try all the latest technology that would blend the worlds of fantasy and real life. There's a whole movie theater in this exhibit that seemed to have been inhabited by Muppets, but it shows documentary film work as to how his puppet works. It shows how his puppeteers work. It showed how the mask worked. There was humor. So, for instance, at that concession stand, they were selling Tut's nuts. They had a sarcophagus in there, like found in the Egyptian pyramids, and it said, "Pull this rope," which I did, and of course, nothing happened, but it was fun doing it anyway. It was a maze. I'm sorry it came out so dark, but it was really an interesting place to be in. A recreated movie set, it felt like, for maybe a scene in The Muppets Take Manhattan. And I walked around this labyrinth and ended up back outside, but I enjoyed the journey. I enjoyed the darkness and all the detail that was in this space. There were other exhibits that caused me to geek out. Like they had a whole thing on Star Trek. They had a whole thing on Star Wars. It showed you the models that were made and the miniature set designs and the storyboarding, everything that goes into producing a movie. They had things like the wig that Cher wore in The Witches of Eastwick. They showed you the makeup. They showed you the mask that they used on Eddie Murphy for one of his films. It was really fascinating. It was a lot of fun. I recommend it. Here's the miniature set designs for what they would build for production. I think it was wonderful. I hope you go. I hope you enjoyed what we showed you, and I hope you give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Just came out of the Museum of the Moving Image. The hours are actually 2 to 6 on Thursdays with free admission, and they're right next to the Kaufman Studios. During the exhibit, I hope you did too. The Jim Henson exhibit was really a lot of fun and interactive. It's a great spot for you and your nostalgia, or for you and the kids, and learn a couple of things. All your favorites are there if you love going to the movies. Please, if you enjoyed this episode, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.